Hey everyone, Teen-Off the Barfield here, and welcome to Writer's Corner. December is upon us. That means Christmas is almost here and winter is coming. But I'm actually pretty happy about that because that means warm winter clothes, hot chocolate, presents, and fire, as well as more indoor activities like board games, card games, video games, and writing, which is basically my entire job, sitting in front of a computer all day. So it's pretty great that the weather is forcing me to do that. Not that I don't still get out pretty often, actually more than I used to, hence the jacket. I'm going out after this video because I have an awesome library near me where the director of youth activities is pretty incredible. And speaking of youth, I've been speaking to more young writers recently on a more regular basis. And it's awesome just to see so many new young faces who are excited about writing, and so many of them are so much younger than I am. Wait, am I old now? No, but it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great to just see them so excited about writing, and it's wonderful. There's just so much potential and talent there. So there is one thing that lots of young writers do that kind of bugs me a little bit, and that's working on multiple works in progress at once. And I'll be talking about today why you might want to consider just working on one book at a time. So first off, why is this important? Why do I need to only write one story at once? Why can't I write 2 or 5 or 1,000 different stories at once? Well, you can. If you have no interest in being published or making writing a career, or if you don't take writing seriously and it's just a hobby or something you like to do, then by all means, write many stories at once. But if you are interested in making writing a career, getting published, or you do take it seriously, then it's very difficult to get published or make a career in writing whenever you're writing 2, 5, or 10 stories at once. Unless your definition of writing is the same as James Patterson's, it's most likely not going to happen. So tip number 1, write your new ideas down. What? But you just told me that I should not focus on all of these, I should just write one. Why are you telling me to write all these things down? You're confusing me. Well, actually, you're going to have these ideas no matter what, whether you're working on one story, whether you're working on 10. So if you're trying to narrow it down to one main project, it's best to just get these out of your system. Otherwise, if you just try and ignore them, they will haunt you. You will dream about them. You will want them. So, get it out of your system, write the ideas down. Go ahead, write the summary of the story, make a list of some characters, write the point of view that it's in. Even if it's a really great idea, write down the beginning of the story. Go ahead, get it out of your head, get it onto paper, get it onto the screen, whatever you gotta do, just so that you know that yes, this is something that you can come back to. You're not abandoning it, you're putting it on the back burner, you're letting the story take care of itself. It actually might even foster more ideas in the background while you focus on your main story. Because whenever the ideas start flowing, you're like, yes, I really want to write this main story. And they're like, oh wait, this would be kind of a cool thing to have in that other story. Then go and write it down. You don't have to abandon all of these other projects. You just don't focus all of your attention on them. I have tons of ideas all the time. That's why I have a journal full of ideas. That's why I have folders upon folders of just the beginnings or interesting scenes of story ideas that I have. That way, I can always come back to them. But my primary focus is Legendland, and that's what I'm going to keep working on until the story is finally complete. Now for the second tip. Decide on your main story or series. This step is kind of paramount to actually narrowing it down for a project that you want to work on. You might be thinking, well, this should have come first. If I didn't tell you that you could actually write down your other ideas and that you're not abandoning them, would you have wanted to continue listening to me? I wouldn't have wanted to continue listening to me. So pick your main story or series. This is going to be probably one of the most difficult things you'll have to do when narrowing it down. And you can do it by a few different ways. Look at your stories. Which one have you put the most detail into? If that, maybe you can go with that one. Which one has the longest? Which one is the most completed already? That might be the easiest to finish and then edit and make presentable to a publisher or publishing company. Which one has the most thought put into it? Maybe it's not the most finished, but it might be the most that you're excited about right now. Maybe it's the one that you fell in love with. Which one was the first? Maybe your first story is the one that you really love and you just keep coming back to and adding little bits and pieces over time. Maybe you should just finish it already. There are a lot of different ways to decide what your main story or series is going to be that you're going to want to focus on. So go on out there, decide what story you want to focus on. Take a good hard look at all of your stories and think to myself, which one am I most excited about? Which one is the most completed already? Which one is just the best overall? What story do I want to work on? Now for the third tip, rekindle your love for your story. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's kind of starting to get pretty serious between me and this story. What I'm saying is, you want to go back and reread the story that you've decided to focus on. If you've decided, yes, this is the story that I'm going to be writing for, well, until I finish it, you're eventually going to come to a point whenever you just don't like the story anymore. It's important to continuously rekindle your love and passion for writing the story. Get your hands on it, or whatever else you want, really. Go back through and read the story, maybe not from the beginning, but the most interesting parts, the parts where you were really in the flow of writing. You'll either find something that really needs to be fixed, or something that you did really well. Either case, it's helpful for getting you back into the groove of writing your story. Find the parts that you enjoyed most about creating the story. Was it the world building, character creation? Was it outlining the plot? Go back to your favorite part of creating this story or series or world and focus on that. Go back to your favorite parts of creation and focus on those, because it will quickly make you realize why you fell in love with the story in the first place. And now for my final tip. It's supposed to be difficult. What do I mean it's not supposed to be easy? What kind of nonsense is that? Well, writing a story isn't easy, and finishing it is even harder. You're literally creating something from nothing, and following that something to a finite destination. Rather than focusing on their one main story that they write and edit until completion, and then get it out into the world so that way they can get a jump start on the publishing game, they focus on 3 to 5 works that they're in love with, rather than focusing on one main story. It's not going to be easy, but don't give up, because it can be done. I know, because I did it. I'm still a teenager. I have lots of these random thoughts like, hey, what if I just wrote a story about sarcastic cats bashing each other while they ate and rolled around in food? That would be cool. I would love to read that story for like 5 minutes and then realize it has no coherence, plot, direction, or character development whatsoever. But if I like the story idea enough, I'll write it down and then go back to focusing on Legendland. Whenever you finish your story, it's just the beginning of this whole new grand epic adventure. And also, series. It's not supposed to be easy, but really nothing in life worth doing ever is. So those are all the tips I have for you today on taking it one book at a time. And now it's the time where I brag about my book. My novel, Legendland, this fantastic piece of literature right here, is available on a plethora of places. You can find it on Amazon, Smashwords, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, my publisher's website, or my own website, www.arc-storm.com. If you order it off of there, I will make sure to personally sign it for you, because I love doing that. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me. Thank you for watching, and continue to enjoy.